Real-life fraud cases. Subordination. This is a true story. Reynaldo looked worried when he came up to the office floor, bringing an invoice in his hand related to a cargo that the supplier apparently had not delivered to the factory. With some perplexity, he said that Carlos, his boss and general manager of the plant, had told him to enter it in the inventory system immediately, as if the merchandise had been delivered that day. Reynaldo was responsible for checking all materials coming into the factory. He had to certify that every piece of merchandise was delivered according to the original order. Carlos stated that the supplier had delivered the merchandise the day before, when Reynaldo had called in sick. But the physical volume of that product in stock seemed to have stayed the same. Reynaldo suspected that something was wrong. Why send the goods without the invoice? It didn't make sense. And Carlos' insistence on not doing a recount was a bizarre attitude. Brenda, the accounting clerk, told Reynaldo he was right to be concerned because he would be held responsible. That is when Carlos suddenly walks into the office and hears what is happening. He harshly grabbed the invoice from Reynaldo's hand and gave it to Brenda, instructing, or better, ordering her to make the entry and not pay attention to what Reynaldo was saying. Since Carlos was Brenda's boss, she felt she had to comply. But before making the entry, and without letting Carlos notice, she made a copy of the invoice and described everything that happened. Brenda sent that copy with her comments to the general office. Months passed, and the audit department got a hold of that invoice copy and wanted to know where the merchandise was. By checking the physical count, it reconciled with inventory accounts. But how could that be the case? All involved were interviewed, including Brenda. When Carlos was interviewed, he acted suspiciously, saying he could not remember what had happened. The auditors knew something was not right and decided to dig deeper. The truth was that Carlos had an accomplice in the accounting department. This person fixed quantities down over several months, instead of doing one major inventory check at the end of the year. Not to call attention, she performed several inventory counts during the year. The information technology department checked the system logs of all involved. The auditors finally discovered the scheme, identified Carlos' accomplice, and both were fired. The company pressed charges against them. Implement a fraud hotline in your company.